Hey, welcome back to another Two Old Geeks Talking episode. This episode, I'm sorry, I'm Rob.
I'm Trace.
And this episode is different than what we normally do. This episode is about us, not just us, but you as well. We are talking about modification, creativity, customization, things that geeks do to obtain things that haven't even been made yet, or things that they just need to have and can't afford. We've all been there, right?
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's crafty.
No.
And there's some people, like say, if you go to Etsy, that make a career out of making geeky stuff for other geeks. But you're a lot craftier than I am, and I'm somewhat crafty. And so if you are, then your craftiness kind of goes into whatever direction and whatever you're into. We're into geeky stuff, so I've made a lot of props, a lot of custom figures, a lot of things over the years, different furniture and stuff to go in my geek room. And so that's kind of what we're just talking about today.
Right. And the thing is not everybody has the maker spaces and the laser cutters and stuff like that. So, we always get a chance to, some of the things we make is as simple as gluing some cardboard together. Now, I wanted to see if I could, the reason I done this was because I wanted to see if I could modify the size, because I have a super huge cranium. So this was something I made out of cardboard just for like a pattern's sake. I'm assuming that's the camera right there, right?
Yeah, you got it, brother.
But then we can move on to foam. You can move on to sewing materials, glue, 3D printing, all kinds of things. My brother here ended up getting me this 3D printed Deckard Gun from Blade Runner.
And that's pretty neat, the way that 3D printing has really, a lot of geeks have grabbed a hold of that and making a lot of props. I mean, that gun at one time would have cost you $500.
Right.
And for a fraction of that, you can get a really good 3D print of it. And I really look forward to see what it looks like when
right now you can see some of the rough edges and stuff, but as I work on this, and that's the thing. No, did I print this? No. Did I make this? No. But I'm going to get the enjoyment of sanding it and painting it. And I can even modify it if I want the handle to be black instead of clear plastic or whatever. That's my prerogative. I get to make it mine, and that's something great about being a crafty geek. And as a geek, geekdom doesn't just pertain to comic books and comic book related movies. A lot of things that are more acceptable now as far as being a geek, because everybody's seen their sport fan who cuts out the shape of Texas and puts their favorite Texas football player or team on it and makes it into a clock. That's totally acceptable. But back in the day, we couldn't put a big Batman symbol on the side of our wall because everybody was like, ew, you're a big geek. But now we can. But geek stuff doesn't always pertain to just comic book and related stuff. This is something I made. Now, I hope that somebody recognizes this. This is actually a replica that I made of an exact style of Stetson that Buster Keaton used to make his helmet for his movies. No, does it fit my fat head? No, because this was actually made in the size of Buster Keaton's, and he was a little smaller guy than I was. All right. So not everything that we make is perfect, doesn't match everything that isn't movie accurate. I made my own sonic screwdriver. Does that look like any screwdriver you've ever seen? No, but it doesn't matter.
That's from Doctor Who, right?
Right. Yeah. But I made it because
you wanted your own personalized.
I wanted my own personalized.
Like I've seen people make their own personalized lightsabers from Star Wars.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that's what customization is. It's making it your own. Okay, so I'm a very, very old geek. And at one time, now it's easy to obtain a Deathstroke helmet. But back in the day, it wasn't. So I had to make my own. I don't even know if this thing fits my face anymore.
It's pretty neat, though.
Yeah.
What'd you make it out of?
Well, I made it out of craft foam.
Yeah.
And I actually made the pattern for the cheekbones and everything out of clay, and then made the craft foam over top of that, and then removed the clay. So it would,
one of the things that makes it so special is that the time you put in on it, and it's one of a kind in a way.
And there's different things you can do and learn from crafting things. You learn how to weather things. Oh, I love to weather things, make things look old. One of my favorite YouTubers, personalities is Adam Savage. Man, that man can weather something and make it look like it's been here for hundreds of years. Speaking of which, this is just a book, blank pages. But I went through there and stained all these pages to make this book look like it'd been on this earth for 100,000 years, just so I could use it in a cosplay thing. Cosplayers are awesome when it comes to customization and creativity. And then, as I said, you can make things more personal. This is kind of old and falling apart, but I made green lanterns. This was what I looked like when I was younger, and this is what my wife looked like when we were
I remember when you guys looked like that.
Yeah,
That's
right?
been like 77 years ago.
Yeah, I had wash tub abs, yeah. But this was me and her as Green Lanterns. Now, then people make you things. Hold on a second. Let me kind of get this fella together here. My brother says I'm more crafty than he is. But he made me this, and this is something to this day you can't find. He made me a Woodrow F. Call from the movie Lonesome Dove action figure. What'd you make that out of? A G.I. Joe character?
I can't even remember. The funny thing is, I remember I worked for a utility company. We used to have a machine that would put pole numbers on the poles, and I actually used that to make that, and I'd forgotten all about it.
Right, and he used a stick to hold to use as a support and everything. And I've had this thing sitting up gathering dust for years, but that's something you can't purchase even to this day.
Did you tell him how I stuck the head on?
No, but I can.
Yeah.
He actually used chewing gum. Now, this is probably the oldest piece of petrified chewing gum known to man.
Right, I didn't have it. I think I was out of glue, so I was chewing some gum.
In the future, if anybody wants to clone Trace, let me know. I've got some DNA right here.
Okay, there you go.
Let's see. That's about... Oh, so... And here's something when it comes to modifying. Y'all seen this in one of our videos when we did the Viking video. Well, when I bought this was actually made in India. It was well made, but this was super shiny. This was really light wood. And with vinegar and heat, I tarnished this and made it look old. Stained this. Did a wash over it. This is materials that I got from the Goodwill store. This is from a jacket I got at the Goodwill store. Things that you make for yourself, or things that you make is special. This has been hanging in my den since that video, and people come over and are like, "Oh, look at that! What is that?" But you got to make things your own. And here's one of those things that doesn't exist. I don't know if there's any geek fans out there that watches or read the comic books Hack and Slash.
I'm sure there's a huge fan following, especially horror fans.
So I needed this. I needed this in my life. I needed Casey Hack's baseball bat. So I got the right wrappings, the right number of nails, wrote it down to fit this exactly. Now, I made two. And I walked into the comic book store to try to earn a little extra cash and sell the other one. And I scared the ever-loving pea water out of them because a big guy walking in there with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
The poor little boy behind the counter started backing up like, holy smokes, what's going on? Oh, and one other thing I had a friend give me. Again, making things that isn't sold, things that's hard to find. A Santa Claus friend of mine, if y'all remember the movie The Santa Claus? Well, he made this card, and it actually has all the writing around it that's the same as in the movie. Of course, on the back, it says that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, how about yourself?
Okay, all right. Let's see here. I will look at some of the stuff I've made. First of all, I want to give a shout out to one of our subscribers that he, on our Usagi Yojimbo video, he talked about how Jaden Whitaker, he talked about how I didn't really show the figure. And I did show the figure, but not close enough for Jaden. I just did it at a distance. So he kind of wanted a close-up of it. So I thought we'd just go over some of the figures and some of the things that we've shown in other videos, but just up close. This is custom Usagi Yojimbo figure. And I made a little custom base for it. And I made a little, if I can turn it here without flipping it over. I made a little raincoat for it called a Mino, which is a Japanese raincoat. Just made it out of some brown paper. Just cut it and layered it. And so what I did was take a existing Usagi Yojimbo figure and pretty much take it apart and just redo it to make it look better, make the swords more accurate, made a scabbard for it. And so that's one of the things that people that are geeks and like customs do. Made a Judge Dredd helmet for me because I'm a huge Judge Dredd fan. And I even cosplayed as Judge Dredd one year at a Comic-Con. And made his gun out of an existing toy gun and cut it up, repainted it, made it look like the movies, made it a little more movie accurate. Thing is, you can buy a Judge Dredd helmet and spend a lot of money on it, but the thing is that, like Robert said, we have rather large heads, maybe because we have rather large brains, I don't know, maybe not. Okay. But anyway, getting something to fit our heads, yeah, you pretty much got to custom make it. So if I could spend $200 and bought something like this, but if I had, it wouldn't have fit. And so I ended up making that for a fraction of the cost. But that was an ordeal to make. I mean, I had to make a plaster cast of my head. Had to use duct tape. There's a YouTuber called Evil Ted, and he has all kinds of great ideas on how to make custom helmets. So if you ever want to make a custom helmet, definitely look it up. I used his advice, and it come out fantastic. This is a little close-up of what Robert showed in our John Wick and Hitman videos, and it is there's a character called Hit Monkey, and that I like, some obscure character, and Robert made this years ago, and we never did show the eyes. I mean, man, yeah, you did spot on, man. But it looks just like the comic. I mean, it's fantastic. Since then, they've made an action figure of him, so Hit Monkey there protects my comic book long boxes. That and the security system I have. And let's see, another custom I made recently would have been for Lone Wolf and Cub, Ogami Ito, and made Ogami and his son Daigoro. And if you're a fan of the movie and you're a fan of Lone Wolf and Cub, there's little things you can do on a base that makes it pop. So like in the movie, there's they lay rocks out by a shrine whenever they want to make contact with Ogami Ito. They also post these pictures of demons on a post. And one of the things I'm really, really proud of on this custom is not only the base itself, but here I've got blood dripping off his katana, and then the blood itself writes Lone Wolf and Cub. So stuff like that. If you're into something and they don't have it, if it doesn't exist, and you're able to, then you just simply make it yourself. So go around and look at some other stuff. Let's see. We've got the R2D2 trash can that we talked about in our George Lucas Star Wars video. So you stick trash in there, makes a little noise and pretty much just a simple trash can with some wood slats. Use some electrical boxes for legs, some duct tape. This is actually part of a water bottle. That's part of a Mountain Dew bottle. And so just a little paint, you can make something special like that. I'd made some custom figures. We showed this custom figure of Leon in our video for John Wick and Hitmen. And that's a little closer look at that. And so actually made his little case, carrying case out of an Irish Spring soap bottle and made him a little custom base. And you can make little props to go along with your figures too. So he always took care of a house plant, so we did that. Sometime in the future, I'm going to have a video on Shaw Brother Kung Fu movies, which I'm a big fan of. So there was a character in there called Scorpion. And so, when I say several years ago, I'm talking probably 25 years ago, made this figure here to go along with that movie because that didn't exist at the time and still doesn't exist. Sideshow made a Star Wars figure years ago, an Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars figure. And it was called a Mythos figure, and it was a statue. And it was about $500 when it first came out. If you can find it less than, 1,000 or 2,000 now, you're lucky. But I thought it would be neat to have a 1/6 scale picture of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so I started sculpting my own. This is actually like a Kenner, cheap, $19 figure. I got a custom head for it, redid the clothing. To be honest with you, it was a figure that I'd given my grandson, and I dug out of the toy box and totally redid it. But I made a custom base for him, made a sand. And so if you turn him around here, the backpack was the tough part. So in the Mythos figure, you had metal, Clone Wars armor, and you had a gaffy stick and stuff, and Anakin and Qui-Gon's lightsaber. So I actually made that years ago, and this usually happens lots of times when you make stuff, but you just kind of got to go with it. Once I completed it, Sideshow decided they was going to make a 1/6 scale Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. So, but you know what? I made this one, and so it makes it more special. And so I never did buy the one I got. And of course, the one I got is like $250. So there you go. My wife, a couple years ago, made this little terrarium. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
She made for the Hobbit and Lone Wolf. Why do I keep saying Lone Wolf and Cub and Lord of the Rings? But it's got some real live plants in it. Got to water periodically. I took a Funko Frodo and made a custom Bilbo Baggins. And so she got the little door there for him, so that was nice. So she just had a cardboard base on it originally. So what I did was I took some duct tape that made it look like it was made of a basket, and then just printed out on the printer, the first lines from a hobbit and a hole in the ground. There lived a hobbit, and printed that out and put it on there. In our Star Wars video, we had, I showed this globe that you get with an electromagnet, and so it floats. And so what I did is I took an electromagnet of the globe. It was a picture of the Earth. So what I did was I made it look like a Jedi training droid. So I made that several years ago. That's a little closer look at that. So one of the things me and Robert did. Here you go, Rob. One of the things me and Robert did.
I think you need to swing around.
Yeah, I think I do. One of the things me and Robert did was we made a custom figures of each other.
Right.
So I haven't seen his, and he hasn't seen mine. So he's going to show me his, and I'm going to show him mine. So so that's going to be exciting, I guess.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. Are you going to let me go first?
Yeah, because I'm tore up.
Okay.
I want to see.
Okay. All right.
I want to see what you did.
Okay. I'm going to try not to trip over this cord. All right. Here, come over and sit down. So there's a lot of different ways you could have gone in this. Could you do Funkos? Could you do, different sizes? Action figures come in different sizes. They come in 12-inch, and they come in 3.5-inch. So what I did was I decided that I got some wrestling figures. You're actually John Cena.
Of course.
And I'm somebody called Seth Rollins, because they don't follow modern wrestlers. But I made the little cup you drink out of. I made the cup I drink out of. I made this little Toy R Us signs. And so I had the figures were really buff, and I had to take a lot of clay and fill it in, so kind of give them dad bods.
Right.
And but the tough part was like your glasses are made out of wire.
Right.
And yeah, that was tough. And then getting the logos just right on the shirt, that was a little tough. And then that what's that logo on your hat from? That's from Watchmen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting that right was something. But if you notice, like little things you normally wouldn't notice is like ear pigeon-toed. So I had his toes turned in a little bit, and I'm
bring his hip?
Yeah, and I'm totally opposite. So my feet kind of stick out a little bit. So anyway, so now we got some custom 2 Geek figures we can hang in there. Yeah, that's pretty.
Pretty dang cool.
Yeah. There you go. All right, so I'll switch, and you can show me what you got.
Show me what you got. Okay. So, sorry, I don't know if there's any. These are the little bitty glasses I had to make.
Okay.
So, I don't want to say what it's patterned after.
Okay.
Right yet. So this, I guess I might as well now. If anybody is familiar with the movie Coraline.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Right? So.
Yeah, made by Tim Burton?
No, it's made by the Lucas Studios.
Okay.
So in there, she's given to a ragdoll that looks like her.
Yeah.
So I've created
that's cool,
a Coraline inspired 2 Geek ragdolls
awesome,
of me and you. And so it's actually hand stitched, made with, and kind of aged, kind of to make it look old and keep from being pristine. And of course, in the movie, the doll's hair was made out of yarn, so I had to make our beards out of yarn.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I didn't even notice that until you pointed it out.
And of course, she had button eyes, so we had to have button eyes.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's all right. Well, that's just another example of geeky craftiness.
Right. So, pictures of our figures will be up on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. We might even use them as a thumbnail for this video.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So, what we want from you all is to show us your creativity now. Go to hashtag 100creativegeek, either on Facebook or Instagram, and show us what you've got. Show us what you've created, because we really do share everything with you, and we want you to share everything with us as well. So I don't even care if it's a pinch pot clay thing that you put a Star Trek symbol or Star Wars symbol on, anything, everything. We want to see it all, because we really do want to be part of this community, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Right, and we appreciate you as much as you all are appreciating us.
Okay, all right, fantastic. You done?
I think I'm done.
All right, man, we're done. All right, see you later. Bye.
Bye.